Evening. So it's been a while. I thought I'd do a end of season review. Loads of people have been doing it, and I thought I'd chuck one on as well. I'll wait for the dust to settle a little bit. I haven't done one of these for ages. I've been stacked out with work and family stuff and all that, and I think it's probably over a month since I last recorded anything or did a live stream. So I thought it was about time I jumped back in. So before we get into it, if you like this video, like the video. If you like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see future stuff, hit the notification bell. It all helps. Now, without further ado, 2021-22 season. There we are. What do we make of that? Now, I can't quite work out if it's a success or a failure. The start of the season, and I've been quite open about this. You probably, if you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen me say this stuff before. I would have taken 6th place as progress after 8th place in the last 2 seasons. I would also like to mention that I've done literally no research and no notes for this. I'm entirely winging it, which is why you'll probably see me go, obviously more than Ray Parler would in an interview. But yeah, 6th place was that was my minimum expectation for progress, and we finished above that. So ultimately, I should be happy with that. But then we had the fucking great Champions League carrot dangled in front of us for the last couple of months, and we were very, very close, and the wheels just fell off at the last moment. At the moment, it feels a little bit like, remember when we was 4-0 up against Newcastle at half time and it was 4-4, or even this season at home to Man City, played them off the park, should have won, lost 2-1. Feels a little bit like that. But I'm trying not to be too negative because, like I said, I saw 6th place as progress and we were above that, and in the end we were only 2 points off Champions League qualification. Like I said, the wheels definitely fell off at the end. But if you look at the start of the season, first 3 games, lost all of them, scored none, conceded 9. You know, we were Banter FC again. And to make it worse, the other lot were top of the league, and congratulations to them for winning the first 3 games title. It was amazing for them. But there's what I'm going to do. I'll concentrate on the things that were successes first. Like, you look at our recruitment in the summer, the players we brought in: Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Tavares, Sambi, Martin Odegaard. Most of those were successes. You could say perhaps Tavares and Sambi, in the great scheme of things, weren't, but they're young and they're future prospects. And I was very, very impressed with Sambi. He got found out a little bit against Liverpool, and maybe his confidence suffered a little bit, and he perhaps didn't have the right players around him. But our recruitment was very, very good. We've now got we can see a clear footballing style, a clear ethos from Mikel Arteta, which wasn't really evident the season before. So that's in our favour. I can't tell you how many goals we scored, how many conceded, how many games won, drawn and lost compared with the season before, because like I said, I've done no research whatsoever. The big thing for me, though, is the connect between the players and the fans, and I first picked up on this in the North London derby at the Emirates, and it's gone on, and I was lucky enough to be at the last game of the season, and you can see the connect that is there between the players and the fans, and that was something that Mikel Arteta always wanted. And the progress hasn't been, when you look at other clubs, when they've brought new managers in, the other lot down the road have progressed quickly. Newcastle have progressed quickly. They probably progressed quicker than we have, but the thing that people need to remember is neither of those clubs had the toxicity or the detritus to get rid of that Arteta and Edu had to get rid of. That was a major open surgery, and they've made progress. There are still some players who are still contracted to the club who shouldn't be, but hopefully in the summer that will be rectified. So those are the positives. And also, even though Lacazette didn't get anywhere near as many goals as he should have done, I think his impact on the team needs to be recognised, because he did an awful lot to bring the young players around him on. Emil Smith-Rowe, Gary Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard. He had a big impact on all of them. Another person I want to give credit to is Bernd Leno. Once Aaron Ramsdale came in, I think his first game was against West Brom in the Carabao Cup, and you could see instantly his distribution was much crisper, much quicker, much more accurate, much more incisive, and his personality. Instantly, you could see his personality and the effect it was having on the back four in front of him. And Bernd Leno is older than him. He's a top keeper with aspirations of being the German number one. And not once did you ever see anything coming out of any of Bernd Leno's social media accounts, his agent. He conducted himself in an exemplary manner, and he deserves huge credit for that. Now on to the negatives. We must always have realised that with the youngest team in the Premier League across the squad, there were going to be bumps in the road. It's a phrase that was bandied around quite a lot. And the biggest problem was when we lost a game, we didn't just lose a game, we then went on to lose 2 games and 3 games. There was a point earlier in the season, I can't remember who it was against, but I seem to remember Crystal Palace and Brighton again. Then there was Everton and Man United back to back, and then towards the business end of the season, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Southampton, bang, 3 games we've lost. And then we went on to beat Chelsea and Man U, but then we lost to the Swamp Dwellers and Newcastle. And the Newcastle game was probably as bad as we've played all season. It was absolutely fucking horrific, just shocking. And then we just fell short, didn't we, at the end of the day? So, like I say, at the moment, it feels like a defeat and a failure because we were so close. And there was a point when, if we'd have won all our games, we'd have ended up third. But that was never going to happen with a young squad. I think one of the things that really hit us was the January transfer window. Not so much the players we didn't get. We all know we spent literally the entirety of the January transfer window chasing Vlahovic, and that was never going to happen. We were clearly just a device to get the deal that Fiorentina and the player's agent wanted done. But there were other players available. It pains me that Newcastle got Bruno for, I think, about 34 million. Maybe he wasn't the right player for us, but when you look at that sort of fee for that sort of player, and he's done very well at Newcastle, the big thing that bothers me is the players who we allowed to go. Now, the first one that bothers me is Callum Chambers. When you look at how stretched we were, just fitness in the squad, the last 5, 6, 7 games, he's a player who could easily have come in and done a job in a variety of positions. Same with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. That's the one that bothers me the most. It's like it was sent out on loan, not sold, no option on the deal. I don't understand what the point was of putting him out on loan, because he's another utility player. Can play right back, can play right wing back, can play central midfield, can play centre back at push. These are players that we actually really could have done with, and they would have made a big difference. Even though players like Cedric and Tavares come in and they did a good job. I just think that was a huge mistake to let these players go. Pablo Mari as well. He's another one. he could have done a job. We were missing Ben White for I think 3 or 4 games towards the end of the season, and then he wasn't present for the final game of the season. That's the problem when you've got such a small squad. I know we had very few games in the great scheme of things, but we were found wanting because of squad depth and fitness at the end of the season. Can't fault the character of the personnel. Yeah, there's an experience, and they looked a little bit scared towards the end when it was in our hands. But those are the things that I think cost us ultimately. Another couple of positives I want to look at is lots been made of this on social media the last week or so. Firstly, Mo Elneny getting an extension to his contract. Lots of people are saying it shows lack of ambition. I disagree entirely with that. Mo is a sort of player. He loves playing for Arsenal. He loves the club. He's happy to be a squad player. Let's face it, if we've got aspirations to push on and challenge for the title and get top 4, Mo's not the sort of player who has the talent to push us on to the next level, but he's the sort of player who will always be there, will always run through a brick wall for us. You've got to know these players, they're human beings. Like, he's got kids. They're probably settled at school. His missus probably settled in the environment of wherever they live. And these are the things we forget about when we pay our subscription to watch on telly, or we pay for our tickets. We don't own these people. They're human beings at the end of the day. And I think that's actually a really, really good deal, because we have got European football next year, and we need a bigger squad than we've had this year. Likewise with Eddie Nketiah. That's the one where people have really lost their shit, and it's bothering them that we're showing a lack of ambition. You got to look at the economics of the situation, though. He was out of contract. He was a young player, and essentially before he, I don't even know if the contract's been signed or not. If you know better than me, drop something in the comments below. But essentially, he's a player who could have gone for free, and now he's a player who is again in the £20 million price bracket. And if someone wants to come in for him, and we look like we're getting other players in, then 20 million. It makes perfect sense. And I know he only scored a handful of goals, but he banged a few goals in towards the end of the season. His performance against Chelsea was really, really good, and it was a sign of what he's capable of. So I'm happy with those signings. Lots of people aren't, but I couldn't give a fuck. This is my show, and these are my opinions. What else was I going to talk about? See, it's the problem when you don't make notes or anything. Fuck's sake. Conspiracy theories. That was it. I've been banging on all season about how much I hate certain pundits, the mainstream sports platforms, PGMOL. There does seem to be this huge conspiracy against Arsenal, and probably the only 2 pundits that I would listen to, in fact 3, who I've got any respect for. Firstly, Ian Wright. Obviously the guy's a legend, and he does talk a lot of sense. He's not biased towards us, and he does an awful lot for Arsenal Football Club and the community that surrounds it. I actually don't mind Roy Keane. I think he talks quite a lot of sense. He's not our biggest fan for obvious reasons. But if you're watching this, Roy, I saw a video last night of you playing for Man U in that yellow and green kit, and you were playing Wimbledon, and Vinnie Jones kicked the fuck out of you, and you didn't say a fucking word to him. Whereas if that was Alfie and Haaland or Patrick Vieira, you were up for it. But it was Vinnie Jones, and you shit it. But you're still a good pundit, and I quite like it. And obviously Michael Richards, absolutely brilliant. I love everything that you say. You're always honest. You're not biased in the slightest. Sometimes a little bit with Man City, perhaps, but we'll forgive that. And you've got a smile on your face. So you guys are all right. The rest of them, Carragher, Neville. I'm not going to call Jamie O'Hara a pundit, because you just want to talk sports, little bitches, basically, same as Zach Bonahor and the rest of them. You're all an absolute joke. And the only conspiracy that I was hoping for was obviously Amazon have been doing the all or nothing behind the scenes for Arsenal this season, and I really, really hope that Jeff Bezos had chucked an absolutely offensive amount of money at the FA, and there was going to be some sort of corruption that would see the final game of the season we would beat Everton 5-1, and Norwich would get a last-minute penalty against Tottenham, which was clearly not a penalty, and Timu Pukki would score the winner, and we'd get fourth place. Like I said, I don't like conspiracy theories, or I don't like corruption. I abhor it in all senses, except for if corruption would have done us a favour and stitched the swamp dwellers up. But it weren't to be. At the end of the day, over 38 games, the team's got 2 points more than us, then, you know, they've just done a bit better than us over the season. Depressing though it is, it's just one of those. So yeah, there's my conspiracy theory out the window. I got tons of shit off fans of the other lot on social media for certain things that I've said about that. How much I would love the fact that if they lost to Liverpool and we'd won, and then we went and won at the toilet, then would have secured fourth place at St Tottenham's Day on their patch. But it didn't happen, and yeah, it's safe to say people are having a few things to say to me on that, but that's cool. That's fine. It would be the same the other way around. The other thing I want to say, moving forwards, I'm not going to go too much into like transfer rumours, transfer activity. There are players that I'd love to see us get. I'm not really that turned on by Tielemans, not sexually, obviously, but I mean from a footballing sense. He don't really do it for me. I like Neves at Wolves. I do think he's a player who could bring a lot to us. When you look up front, I don't think that we'll get Darwin Núñez now without Champions League football. We may miss out on Gabriel Jesus. He's a player I'd love to get. You know, people are saying, "Oh, you know, he's a bit part of City," but you watch him when he gets a run in the team. Look at the goals he scored, and you know, Mikel Arteta knows him, so he's one I'd like to see. And DCL as well. I know he's had a poor season with injuries and stuff, but if you need a big man up top, and we do seem to like to get the ball in from wide areas. But he's on form. He's unbeatable in there. I actually saw him leap for the ball. He leapt over someone. Somebody was standing up, and his legs just went the other side, and he just floated over the top of the fucking bloke's head. How's about that for a sprint? So he's one I'll take as well. Anyone else has got any players that they're interested in? Again, I'll see if I can do this right. Drop the comments down below. But one thing I did want to say, if you're looking for transfer info and all that, there's a few places you can go, and I need to. I want to give a shout out to some of the people that do the same thing, but way better than I do. First one is Jake Clegg at Arsenal Analysed. If you want your analysis in depth and fully researched, like have a look at Arsenal Analysed, because this guy's absolutely known it, and I think he's on fucking steroids with the amount of content he's putting out at the moment. Bloke's an absolute fucking machine, but the content is always spot on. So give him a look. Also give my good friend Albert JTV a look as well. He's doing so well. He's creating such good content, and he does his surgery, which has always got amazing talking points. Live stories as well, where he just gets gooners to talk about, you know, things that have affected them as Arsenal fans. Also look up Callum Chambers. They'll have their rumour mill going through the summer, and they'll also be covering the women's Euros with Lottie and Lee, and probably G as well. So definitely give that a look. And also, last but not least, have a look at the Armoury. The Armoury do great stuff, whether it's in the evenings. They do a lunchtime slot with my good mate Tony, and always good content. So please have a look at those 4 channels. Alternatively, still with me. have a look at some of this. I don't know what to do with the next one. I've got a I do this other one called Legends as well, and I've been trying to put this Arsene Wenger one out for ages. So I had a couple of live streams planned, but life gets in the way, so it wasn't to be. But that will be coming up soon. But like it says at the bottom, if you like this video, please hit the like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you can see future stuff. I think that's about it. I'm sure there's loads of other stuff I was going to talk about, but I fucking forgot. So yeah, that's it. Have a good evening, whatever you're doing. And okay. Oh no! See, I told you something I forgot. Yeah, so I was lucky enough to go to the last game of the season at the Emirates, and fun story. Now, I grew up in London, so I used to think that I was used to it. But I'm a country mouse now. I live in rural Northamptonshire, and I'm used to wide open spaces, not being in a stadium with 6,000-8,000 other people, or in a pub with, I can't even tell you how many people. I don't know. But it was proper anxiety for me, and fully exhausting. But it was a great day. It was my first time at the Emirates, and it was wonderful to be there, especially for such a good performance, and to see Odegaard's goal. Was probably worth the admission fee alone. But it was a great day. But fun story, because I stayed at Manor House Hotel, which is a fair trek from St Pancras. But on the actual Sunday, songs were sung, drinks were drunk, and I really was not in the right headspace to get on the underground on a Monday morning and get across to St Pancras. So I decided to walk it. It took me about an hour and 10 minutes. But as I'm looking at my phone, checking the map, some piece of shit's left a McFlurry on the floor, and I haven't seen it, obviously, because I'm looking at my phone. So I've slipped over on it straight on my ass. And normally you would hope that nobody had seen that happen, but it was a Monday morning, and it was right in front of probably about 20 school kids, and probably about the same number of builders as well. Safe to say, all of them found it highly amusing. And I did not get out unscathed. So if anyone would like the idea of me making a twat of myself in front of other people, it did happen, just so you know. Right, anyway, I'm off now. Be good, look after yourselves. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll see you next time. Ta-da.